Good morning, and good morning. Okay, today you're going to see a little bit more in my room than what you usually see. And that's because I dropped my phone in my car. Don't know how I did it, but it's someplace in my car doing its own thing. And as they say, there you go. There's not much I can do about it. I'm not going to worry about it this morning. When I finish, I'm going to go over to the dealership, and they said they would help me. I was afraid to touch all the wires in the bottom. It fell up under a seat, but I just can't get to it. So there you go. So I'm not on my phone today. I'm on my actual computer. So I say good morning and good morning and good morning. Today we're going to talk about rest. Oh my goodness. Sometimes we do not get enough rest, even during this pandemic. There may be some of us that are just worried, and, our schedules are off because our days are different in terms of our commitments and the places that we can't go, and, family or whatever we have in. So here we are trying to figure out how do we manage life. Now I'm going to tell you, I don't know where the chat is on here, so you can chat with me all you want. I want to see it, but I don't know how to operate it on on this one. I know that there is somebody watching right now, but I don't know. I don't know how to respond to you, but I do want you to communicate in the chat area. Say hello, and we'll go from there. And if I don't say hello to you, it doesn't mean that I don't love you and thank you for being here. I do. I absolutely do. But I don't know what I'm doing on the computer, because I've always done it on my phone because it's always been portable and I could do it where I wanted to do it. Okay. See, I don't know what I'm doing. I touched something by accident. But today we're talking about rest. We need to get our rest as much as we can. Um, and so I found a poem, and the poem I found is by Henry Kendall. And it says, Rest. Sometimes we feel so spent for want of rest. We have no thought beyond, I know today, when tired of bitter lips and dull delay, with faithless words I cast mine eyes upon the shadows of a distant mountain crest, and said, That hill must hide within its breast some secret gland scheduled from the sun, O Mother Nature. Would that I could run outside to thee, and like a wearied guest, half blind with lamps and sick of feasting, lay an aching head on thee. Then down the streams the moon might swim, and I should feel her grace, while soft winds blow the sorrows from my face, so quiet in the fellow of dreams. And so basically, the poem is saying sometimes we get so caught up, so worried, we look beyond what we can even, what we hope we can hide into. But what happens is that what we crave is just to rest, just to give our bodies what we need, to lay it down, to don't give any thought to much of anything. Just let ourselves go to resting, mindless, carefree resting. That's what we need. And we don't always get that. We don't. Even during pandemic, we're not going to get it. Some of us will. Some of us may get it on occasion, and then, like a lot of things, it just flees. So anyway, when we talk about rest, we talk about to cease work or movement. And the reason this came about, I'm always inspired about the day because this is Labor Day. And Labor Day is supposed to be a day acknowledging where if you've been a worker, that you can actually pull away from that. You can just say, I'm not doing anything on this Friday evening, that Saturday, that Sunday, and even that Monday. But what we usually do is we're used to having big events. There's always some great event going on, with fireworks and barbecues and getting together with friends and family. But this year is kind of different. So we have to look at this different. We have to address it different. And we don't always know how to do that. But anyway, it says to rest is that to realize there's a cease of work or movement in order to relax, to refresh oneself, or to recover strength. And it says that we don't always, because we don't always get it, we might be just tired. It says, but we need the time to unbend, to repose ourselves. It says to laze around, to be idle, to loaf, to do nothing. My mother used to always use that word loaf. Y'all just loaf. That's all you do is loaf. You know, we'd always get tickled at her. But it also says to recline, to ease, have inactivity, to sleep, to have time out, and to have time off. To have time off. And so I'm going to ask you this question. Do you occasionally get stuck with your sleeping? Put a note out there that says that you do or you don't. If you get your sleep, okay, wonderful. Some people don't. Some people do not get it. So when we break this word down, and I'm going to make it so I'm not on your labor weekend this weekend, I'm going to get through these relatively quickly, and then you can have fun the rest of the weekend and hopefully get some rest. But I did two words for R, which is the first letter of rest. I did repose, and I also did respite. And so I'm going to talk about repose first. Repose is a state of rest. It's sleep or tranquility. And it says that rest, to really rest into what repose is all about. It's talking about you're going to get some sleep. You're going to slumber. You're going to have breathing space, total inactivity, quietness, being calm, having and finding leisure. It says time off and also respite. And I love the word respite. When I first moved to Pensacola, I used to give, what they called the Alzheimer's, and I guess at the time they were just starting to really start out, but they gave respite care. The state did, and through the state, I worked for them, offering respite care of the people who were in the homes, taking care of people that their family members that were affected by or victims of Alzheimer's or severe dementia. And so this respite program really allowed the caregiver to get away from that environment for 2 hours, 4 hours, to kind of regenerate themselves. And sometimes that's what we have to look at rest is that we're trying to get our bodies back in shape. And they say the person that doesn't sleep much may have some issues during the day because they're not getting enough rest. They may be overtired. They may be, have, basically zero energy, nothing to contribute. All of that has to do with how much rest we get at night. And then when I do the word respite, which is also for the R, it says it's just a short period of rest or relief from something that is either difficult or unpleasant. It's an interlude on you. It gives you rest, it gives you a break, an interval, and intermission from what is going on. And to me, if you've ever experienced anybody with dementia or with great sickness going on for them, it basically is going to not just be affecting the victim, but all the people that are involved in the care of the victim or in care of the patient. That's just the way it goes. We have to take care of who's ever sick. And I'm quite sure during this period of pandemic, there's been a lot of families that have needed rest and not known much relief for it, not received much respite for it. Why? Because of the virus itself just says that they too have to be somewhat isolated and quarantined. So it does impose an issue. So anyway, that's what we want to do, is really look at how rest gives us a time of basically rejuvenating, and if we get a period of respite, that means we're away from whatever that difficulty is that we were dealing with, whatever it is. The E of rest is for ease. And I always like that word ease, because ease just meant, should be like laid back, kind of, I can deal with this. It's ease. It's easy. So it's the absence of difficulty or effort. It's simplicity. It's mastery, because they said that usually if you've already done something over there really well, then over here you're okay. It says it's peace, tranquility, and it's composure. So all of those things have to do with the ease of, our rest. We want our rest to be ease. We want it to be where when we come out and under it and we go back to what we were doing, we're okay. We're okay. But some people, they don't get enough rest. So therefore, what they're handling, is difficult. And because it's so demanding, they very seldom get a chance to find ease. They very seldom do. The S of rest is to sleep. And to sleep is a condition of the body and mind, such as that which is typically recurs for several hours every night, in which the nervous system is relatively inactive. It says the eyes are closed, the postural muscles relax, and the consciousness practically suspended. That is when you get complete rest, and when you need rest. When you're tired and you really need to go to sleep. um Go to sleep. Go to sleep if you can make it happen for yourself. And what I used to do when I was with some of the patients in my prior jobs, I used to say, look, like a child, when a child goes to sleep, you go to sleep, you know. And I know sometimes that's the time you might be needing to prepare for something that will come up after the sleep is over, their sleep is over, such as medications or food and that kind of thing. I understand it. But sometimes you have to prepare as much as you can at one time and then rest when they rest. So sleep talks about taking a nap, getting a doze, getting drowse, getting a cat nap, beauty sleep, a snooze, 40 winks, power nap. I always took a power nap when I was studying for my degrees, especially my master's degrees. I would take a power nap. I would set the clock and I would go, and it would be a huge long alarm, and I would go down for 10 minutes. And I tell you, I could come back up and work another 4 hours. I can't do that now. It's not going to work. But you could also get some Z's. That's what it also is. When you talk about sleep, the sleep that we get, the sleep that we need, it's vital. It's important. It's important. It helps basically generate us and regenerate us and make us, feel good, feel better about what it is that we're faced with. But if we're constantly tired, constantly having limited sleep or no sleep, and never any respite for somebody to come in and take over, we are exhausted. That's the other end of not getting enough rest. And the T of rest is tranquility. I used to buy everything when I would go to the store for like candles or, things that smell good in the house and different things if it said tranquility, because I thought that was going to give me tranquility. Tranquility can actually be set up by several things. It may be how you have your area where you're sleeping, how it's situated, and it says maybe limited light, maybe looking at no TV, just music, to put you into where you can easily go down. Hey, look, I can see it. Hey, good morning, Joan. Good morning, Kawanis. Good morning, Maurice. I can see. I didn't think I could see anything, but look, good morning, Cassandra. What you say? Good morning, ladies and gents. Good morning, good morning. I'm excited. I didn't think I could see it. I only know how to do everything on the phone. So this is my first time doing it this way. And as I said, you see more of my room, and I'm in the middle, but I'm so used to being so close. But good morning and thank you for coming. So anyway, to look at tranquility, you can set your room up, you can set your bathroom up, maybe some candles around it, just, light music, very quiet. And it's able to set an atmosphere for you to rest, for you to start with what you see, start with what you hear, and then continually you see nothing, you hear nothing, you're resting. You are at rest. So tranquility talks about the peace. It talks about the stillness, the serenity, the mildness, the control, because if you set up that setting, you control it. Nobody else controls it. It talks about, it says, a period of hush, a period of silence, restraint, content, and coolness. I like that coolness, the fact that you may find it to be kind of neat that you've created this space just for you, nobody else, you know. And sometimes we don't even need anybody else around to get our relaxation on. Now I want to ask you a question. I want you to respond over here. If you're a person that gets 8 hours of sleep a night, put it in. Do you get 8 hours of sleep a night? You're rare. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But that is the number that is actually put out there for people to get a night. I know I don't. I probably around six, 5.5, 6, and I just automatically wake up. I don't know why. I just automatically can wake up. Now, if I've had a real hard day, I might sleep a little longer, but generally not so much. You know, not I'm just not a long sleeper, and I've never needed much sleep. You know, and I don't understand that. It just seems like I would need more the older I get, but I think the older you get, sometimes your schedule is off, your body clock is off. You just, especially if you're no longer working, therefore you're not held to time. You don't have to worry about what time it is when I lay down, what time it is when I get up. Breakfast is whenever you decide you want to have it. And it's not, at a certain scheduled time like it used to be. You used to have to get up and have to adhere to schedules for some of us. And when I first came home from retirement, from retiring from my job, I was crazy because my body clock was on, up at 4:30, at work by 6:30, and we really couldn't even clock in until 6:30. But I was there. I like to be there early. Something about being at your desk before you have to be at your desk made the world to me, and I loved it. There was nothing wrong with me. Okay, so Jones is listening to nature sounds. Yes, that's a good one. Listening to nature sounds, absolutely. Um, and some of us who had that kind of schedule for years and years and years, we continue that schedule even though we're retired. So and I yes, I did start another job, but it's around the hours that I work with them, they work with me. So last night I had a class, and so my class was from 6 to 8, but I got in a little bit later than what I usually do because of the not being able to find my phone and having to do everything on my computer. But the phone is portable, so to me, I found like I didn't have the greatest peace in the rest last night because I'm thinking, how am I going to get that phone out from under that car? So anyway, I did figure it out how it's going to happen. But sometimes we just have to realize that our time that we spend resting is actually very good for us, even if we don't go all the way down to sleep. If we're resting, if we're laying our bodies down, getting what I would say enough self time in So when you have to go back out into whatever it is you're facing, the job, sickness in the family, funerals, whatever it is, that you're prepared, you know. And I think all of you can understand and attest to what it is to be tired, you know. Sometimes I've done so many things in the course of a day. My bed meets me when I hit a chair. It's not that that's where I wanted to stay. I thought I had some stamina and I was going to watch a little bit of TV. When I wake up at maybe 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and the TV is watching me, I didn't watch the TV. But sometimes that's what our bodies do when we really need to be forced to rest. The body becomes uncooperative, you know, and we do work in overdrive. Um, some of us never get enough rest, never do. Did anybody write that they get 8 hours of sleep? Anybody? I wasn't sure. Um, I know I don't, and I was just wondering if anybody did. Here's some questions to consider, you know, and this may you can add to your what you've already been writing in your journals or the books that you have. It says, do you get your rest? Do you honestly get enough rest? Do you? Some of you do not, and some do. And some are in between. Some days they get it, other days they do not. Now, this is a good question. Have you ever needed or given respite to somebody? Meaning, you had so much going on with a family member or a friend and helping them out that you needed to be almost rescued and given respite. Have you ever done that? I have. I have. Third question, do you have a life of ease where you realize that when it's time to sit it down, you're going to sit it down? When it's time to go to sleep, you're going to go to sleep. Are you an affirmative person, and what you decide is it? You're not going to change anything. you know Sometimes we don't change. Sometimes we never get enough rest. People know it, so therefore they almost take advantage of it. I'm just saying, this happens. This happens. The fourth question is, how much sleep do you get each night? Which is the question I already have. And would you like to get more sleep? If you're not getting 8 hours, what will you do to get more sleep? Because a lot of the news shows are saying that when we don't get enough sleep, that's when sometimes we make strange decisions. We make impulsive things. Everything is urgent, because our lives are just going really, really fast, like we're, on a treadmill, instead of being, rested. Because they said when the body is rested and the mind is rested, we are more apt to make sound judgment about things. You know. And the last question is, do you enjoy tranquility? And how do you go about doing it? Have you created it? Have you, basically done something that says, I'm taking care of myself? We don't always do it, you know. Um, it would be good to do. I'm just going to put it that way. It would be great if we all just decided that we're going to really take care of ourselves in a much better way than we have before. I feel that this being such a strange year, with only less than 4 months now left in it, I always concern myself is when you look back on 2020. 2020, when you look at it, period, it talks about it was always like this in 2020, or having 2020. It was a vision thing. It was what you could see, and the vision was supposed to be always good. 2020 is supposed to be good vision. And if you were to start assessing what 2020 has been for yourself, and you put many of the things that I've talked about, from looking at, your happy, your smile, your work, your lean, your tower. I just think about all the things that I've talked about. Where do you fit? Where do you fit it in? And then you add rest to it. And has it given you a clearer indicator of who you are, what you've dealt with, what you will deal with, what after quarantine will do. After quarantine, will it change some things for you? Will it change where you go, what you do? For me, it will. I know it will. They were talking about the movie theaters opening up this weekend. I think they opened up not too long ago with a 15 cents, entrance fee. Well, my life is more than 15 cents. So for me, I wouldn't have done it. I won't do it now. So there's going to have to be more confirmation and length of time between a supposed vaccine coming November 1st and it working. So I don't know all of that. So because those are unknowns to me, I'm just thinking that I'm not ready to sit in the movie theater yet. It just doesn't sound right yet, but who knows what I'll be doing next year. But what will your 2020 look like if you were to look back over it? And if you were to forecast what 2021 will be, what would you put down? What would you put down? Would rest be one of the things that you have to catch up on? Would, love of self or finding self or just looking, at who you are along the way? To me, that's important, that you know who you are and what you're doing. Sometimes we don't know that. We just don't. We don't. I don't know if somebody wrote. Maurice says no. Joan says sometimes. Okay, Deborah Burgess walks. Okay. Walking is great because sometimes you have to exert your body enough so that rest is the only way to recover. That's the way it is. But it also says that walking, like running, swimming, all those things that have a tendency to make you have more energy, more focus, more determination, so that when you rest and get back up, you have your energy back with force. And sometimes we don't do that. We don't get enough exercise, and then we don't get enough rest. So that's good. I was trying to say to somebody else, right? But anyway, I want you to look at rest being as important as a smile, as important as love, as important as care, as trust, as your tower, that your body that you're in. All those things to me point to being ready for 2021, still consciously looking at everything going on in 2020. If the Lord says so, we're going to go into 2021, but we have to look at it. Will we be okay with that? Will we be okay? Hopefully we will. Hopefully we will. We will look at life as being, yes, showing us some difference. We've seen different this year. None of us who've ever lived have seen what 2020 brought us, which also says, how well prepared will we be for 2021, especially if we don't look at the importance of resting and working when we can, and working from the vantage point that we've rested enough. We rested enough. But this was brought on, of course, by Labor Day being Monday, celebrated Monday. So I want you all to really have a great holiday. Remind yourselves to keep your social distancing at where it should be. And certainly cover up, certainly wear your mask, certainly if you're going out places. Sometimes I put on gloves depending on if I'm going to be picking up a lot of stuff. I just do that. But my point is to love yourself enough to get the rest you need. Don't let anybody else, um, you know, just get you to the point where you don't rest enough. No matter who it is, you just have to rest. You have to rest. I love you. I love you. I love you. I want you to take care of yourself. I'm doing good trying to stay within the less than 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And I've been trying to stay around 30 minutes. And so it's been going pretty good. I can't thank you enough for coming. I love you. If you can share it, and certainly they can go to the YouTube channel also and get all of the sessions that I've done. And I just hope that we'll just continue doing what we need to do. Love you. Thank you. Have a great holiday weekend. And I won't be here Monday. I'm gonna take my Labor Day off. But I will see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Be safe. Be safe. Love you. Bye bye.